The executive director of the Watershed Watch Salmon Society says that currently BC is losing a lot of its potential salmon stock to Alaskan fisheries, who have less stringent fisheries laws than we do here.
Alaskan interception fisheries, so essentially all the fish that swim out of our BC rivers go out into the open Pacific Ocean and the Gulf of Alaska, and they spend a year, 2 or 3 out there, and then they make their way down the coast of Alaska back home to their BC rivers to spawn. And there's a bunch of fisheries in Alaska that are primarily there to nab those BC fish that are migrating back home to BC. And they're catching a lot of our fish. They're catching a growing share of the total catch as we've ramped down some of our fisheries in BC to conserve our diminished stocks. And so in a lot of years, Alaskans are now catching more BC fish than BC fishermen are. And we need them to scale that back so we can get their help to rebuild these stocks so we can all share the wealth.
Hill says these topics are supposed to be addressed through the Pacific Salmon Treaty between Canada and the U.S., which governs how both countries manage each other's fish populations and share information, but that the current treaty isn't dealing with the issue.
They're not taking genetic samples from the catch to tell us what rivers these fish are actually from, and they're not, when they have to throw back species like Chinook and steelhead, they're actually not reporting the numbers, and they're not throwing them back alive like we're required to do here in BC. So there's just a huge array of problems with the way they're managing our fish.
Hill says this is why we require strong leadership from Fisheries Oceans Canada, as well as the Fisheries Minister, to get the best deal for Canada in the treaty, of which negotiations are underway. The chosen Fisheries Minister didn't end up being from BC. Joanne Thompson was elected in St. John's East, Newfoundland.
This government continues to understand the cultural and the economic importance of the fisheries. And I can tell you that I am very humbled and proud to be responsible for this file.
Hill says his hope is that Thompson will be paying attention to BC waters, as we have until 2028 to lock down a strong deal for BC. He says that currently, easily a third of the salmon population has been decimated by these interceptions in recent years. For CFTK-TV News in Terrace, I'm Jaylene Matthews.